Hello and welcome. We are continuing our Master Gardener Home Garden Virtual Tour. My name is Gina Ligon and I am with the Boone County Cooperative Extension Service and I am your Senior Program Assistant for Horticulture. Today we are at the home of Michelle and you will see her grandson Wyatt joining us in the background. And Michelle is going to tell us all about how did you get your passion for gardening, Michelle?
When I was a little girl, I lived in Minnesota, and our neighbor across the street was an elderly woman, but she had always gardened since the olden times and carried the tradition on. And so I would help her garden. She was kind of like my substitute grandmother. And she also let me have a small garden of my own. But we lived on the lake, so we always fertilized with fish that we caught. And she taught me how to garden. She also had a rain barrel that I remember. And so this was back like in 1963. So that shows you how long that type of use has been around. It's not something new. But I like to garden flowers for the bees and the butterflies and the birds the most. So this is my perennial garden. It's not just for the butterflies, it's for all the insects and the bees. But one of the things I wanted to emphasize was this solar fountain that I made. I saw a lady make it, I think it was on YouTube, and all you use is a 5-gallon bucket. You get these little trays from like the dollar store or yard sale, and you take a soldering gun and you burn holes into the tray so that the water will go back down in, and it's actually a solar fountain, and it only works when the sun is directly on. This morning there were 6 goldfinches on the bachelor's buttons. These are these flowers over here that are kind of slowing down right now, but I've left the seed there for the birds because they come all the time. These are zinnias, so most of this is perennial, but I usually put about 3 different kinds of annuals out too for the flowers. This is another area of the garden. These are new to me this year. They actually had them at the Arboretum, but they're called a Mexican Petunia. The actual name is Rubellia, I think, Rubellia, possibly. So I got that because the butterflies really like it, but I have seen bees, and it's just started blooming recently, so it'll be a later and last all summer long. My garden moves a lot during the year. I have a map and a diagram of where I planted things. And by the next year, the birds and the pollinators move it to somewhere else. So when I first started this garden, my emphasis was on monarchs because that's when the big monarch push was on to try to protect them. So I have planted milkweed here. I don't usually get monarchs probably till next month in August, but this is swamp milkweed. It's its 3rd year that it's been in here. Actually, this plant really likes, it's called swamp milkweed because it likes a wet area, but this whole garden is very dry. I only water it once or twice during the whole season. And so the monarchs will come, but they probably won't be here too much until at the end of this month. I tried to find some eggs, but I couldn't find any. So I want to talk to you about a couple bushes and trees that I've planted for a reason. So this is a spice bush. I got it mail order. It was a dry root plant, and it was only about this big. It's been here 2.5 years. I've just noticed that it does have berries on it this year, so it must take about 3 years for the berries to come. So this is a mason bee house, and I put this up about 2 months ago. As you can see, there are bees going into it right now, and they're building little cells and laying eggs, and they will hatch from here. Not until next spring, but these 2 right here for sure are leafcutter bees, and it's my first time. I think I've been doing this for 5 or 6 years that I've actually had leafcutter bees. Leafcutter bees use roses, and I have 2 roses planted over here. So this was a project that we did when we first moved here. All of this garden, all the way over to past this little tree, which is called a 7 Suns tree, all of this was covered in bamboo. And this was not a good bamboo. This was a very aggressive bamboo. It was on the other side of our shed. It keeps growing up on the edges by the house. We have a deck in the back, and it was all the way under there. And in fact, they had carpeting on the grass because it was so invasive. It was knocking things over. So this whole area was bamboo. We've worked with it over and over every year to get it out. There was the first year we attempted to get rid of all of it. There was over 120 man hours of different people digging it up. So this is our oak tree. Of course, it was here long before we were ever here, but I wanted to talk to you a little bit about it with pollinators and insects. The oak trees in Kentucky and North America are a native plant, and because of that, there could be up to 500 different kinds of insects on this tree at one time. So I'm planning to plant a couple more oak trees. We have pin oaks on this property. They were put in bad locations, so I'm going to try to do some other kinds of oaks.